A little bit late. Sorry, I meant basically how these meetings are sort of
Oh, yeah, sorry.
currently run is I'll give everybody sort of an update on just top level view on what's happening with SIPs in general and the SIP process, a bit of update. And then sort of after 10-15 minutes, there will be opportunity for some topics or open floor. So I think that's the sort of chance to bring your stuff up. Is that okay?
Yes, sounds great.
Cool. You're sick. Okay, let me share my screen. Oh, Mutu, is that you?
Hey everyone, yep.
Oh, cool. We have the man who's doing all the API stuff and nodes which are critical to Stacks. So yeah, it's amazing to have him here. Okay, let me share my screen. Oh, okay. So welcome to 14th of October, Stacks, the community weekly SIPCO. Today is going to be an open discussion session. So I'll quickly run through the top level SIPs activities just to give everybody, sort of get everybody informed. And these recordings will go out to the communities and they can catch up later too. So, and then, yeah, so I'll give a top level overview and then we'll have open discussion for Mutu or Elena want to tell us anything or give feedback on anything. Yep. So a bit of background for those first time in here, like Elena, Mutu, I don't know how many times you've been here, but this call is all about informing the community of where everything is SIPs status-wise. Well, a few different things. So informing the community, get everybody involved. And also here is a place and chance for you to share your idea, share your proposal, how you want to improve Stacks. And also like you'll find like lots of feedback. We have very technical people here. We have people from different aspects of the Stacks community and people can look at different angle for you. And so that should help you form your proposal more comprehensively from different angles that you may or may not have thought of. So yeah, so this is what the session is about. So just to give like some of you the context of what is even a SIP. So a SIP is just a document that specify what improvements he or she want to make or a group want to make. So Stacks 2.1, Stacks 2.05, they're all SIPs. And these documents live on GitHub. So that's what SIPs are. And these are the SIP processes. So from the beginning of an idea to the end, when it gets ratified or voted on. So this week, in terms of the SIP activities, so we have just from the beginning, so we had Bitcoin derivation path, we have safe token transfer, that's from Mike Cohen. We have minor centralization. So these are all sort of ongoing SIPs. Well, they're not SIPs yet, SIP drafts yet, but they are there for people to gather comments. And therefore, they will have a better, when it comes to forming an actual SIP, it will be formed very comprehensively, very thought from different angles. So please share your comments there. And the next stage, we have SIP 13, semi-fungible token. I believe Marvin has done something and is just waiting for Aaron to reply. I'm not sure how long Aaron might be out of office. Does anybody know? But
yes, until January. So we might want to catch one else.
Oh, wow. Oh, well. So maybe I think the last conversation I saw this morning was Marvin left a comment, perhaps waiting for Aaron. So maybe someone else from the technical could perhaps take a look at that. I'm not aware it's super urgent, this semi-fungible token. But maybe the SIP owner can let us know. But yeah, I think if Aaron's not there, it might be good for someone else to review that.
I can take a look at that one.
Cool. Thanks. It's in the accepted stage, so still sort of early-ish, and then we'll get reviewed by the CABs officially. And then we have some later SIPs that are in activation progress stage. I think SIP 19, for example, just being some comments, being some more feedback. So I think Raphael is probably making some adjustments or maybe justification why he want to do the way he does. And SIP 18, I think that's been sort of, there's actually additional comment about the unstructured side of the data messaging that can be incorporated into SIP 18. I'll talk about it a little bit later. Yeah, so SIP, just a reminder, SIP 16, metadata for tokens ratified. So yeah, so that's the sort of the top level SIP stuff, if you like. Yes, some draft stage stuff, safe transfer standard. I've asked Mike if you want to sort of give that a little bit more thought. I asked him what he want to do with that. So yeah, I think if anybody wants wants to comment on it, feel free to. There's still plenty of opportunities, still early. Yeah, so Fridger's stuff. Fridger's authentication protocol. That's also, you can comment on draft, things like that. And this is the one I was talking about. Some things came up which sort of identified there's actually opportunity to add an unstructured side of data to SIP 18. So hopefully there will be, instead of creating a separate SIP for that, we'd like to almost like merge this one to the SIP 18. So yeah, so hopefully Fridger, Kieran can do something about this. And just want to highlight this, a new one coming from Werner. So this is great because this is what we want. Like, we want community members to actually like throw new ideas. And for this particular one, basically Werner identified something in the previous conversations in GitHub. I think it was conversation between Fridger and some other people, but like nobody really wrote up a SIP. So he decided to take initiatives and create a SIP proposal. So he made this GitHub issue, and it has a link to his draft, or I don't know if it's draft, but it's in his repository. An idea to improve the marketplace perspective standard of BNS v2. So basically, this can contribute to BNS v2, and people will benefit are like marketplaces because they will have a standard, because there's some traits stuff. So yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Werner for taking the initiative, and I will be helping him to get this SIP more formed. We'll hopefully find somebody who are more technical, can support this too. So one of the things I'm being tasked to do in the future is also to have a sort of technical mentors that can take SIPs to the finishing line, if you like. And SIP editors can be part of this process too, people who got experience in making sure the SIPs are written correctly can also be part of this process, helping community members who haven't submitted SIP before or perhaps unaware of the SIP process. They have ideas and they can propose, and we can help them get more SIP through the pipeline. So this is one of the many ways we can decentralize this process a little bit more and get community more involved too. So yeah, really shout out. Yes, just to remind people that the steering committee meeting notes and weekly meeting notes are up on GitHub. So please take a look if you would like to see what went on over the past few weeks in details. The summaries are in Stacks forum, and these are the in-depth meeting notes that I compiled. So they're there. On Stacks forum, big conversation about BNS. So everybody please jump in and have your say about BNS, and therefore you can help the BNS working group to form a really, really good V2 contract. So I thought to bring this up too, that I saw on Stacks forum. Jude was asking if anybody has any opposition to Stacks 2.1. I believe one of the reasons is because we're really tight for time too, in terms of from code complete to activation. And we just want to make sure we know who not delay the process. If anybody has anything against, please throw their hands up now, kind of thing. I don't know if Jude has any comments about this.
Now is the easiest time to address any negative design decisions in 2.1. It's going to be a lot harder after it goes live. So this is mainly meant to be a catch-all. If there's something about the things you've seen go into 2.1, I know maybe it's a little early to be asking because the SIP isn't fully written yet. But I'm just trying to front load all of the discovery of these things to the greatest extent possible so we can get it fixed before spending a lot of time going through a ratification process only for that to fail for reasons that were not known until the ratification failed.
Yeah. A question about this. Would you be able to add or highlight certain features or design decisions that could potentially, in your belief, be contentious?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. There's just so many things going into Stacks 2.1. I didn't list them all in this post. My hope is to have the SIP written that describes everything. I don't think any of them are controversial. I think the things that we're doing, maybe some of them are more limited in scope, but all of them are meant to fix problems in the current design. Opposition might include things like it doesn't do certain things you wanted it to do as well. We're not really looking for feature requests at this point, just because we're kind of crunched for time. But if there's low-hanging fruit, then that's certainly something we could consider. The biggest changes, I think, from a user-facing perspective in 2.1 is just that stacking doesn't require a cooldown period anymore. Almost everything else is new clarity functions and fixing some aspects about mining that make mining a little bit less unforgiving than it is right now.
Yeah, I was thinking whether I know it's in Stacks forum. Do you think it's worth somebody circulating that on Twitter, or is it not needed, do you think?
Up to you. Tweeting it probably wouldn't hurt. The forum is just the pre-SIP gathering place too. So that's why I started as a forum post. It's kind of I didn't tag it as an RFC, but you might imagine it like an RFC, like a negative RFC.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm happy to facilitate whatever is needed.
Yeah, the thing, I don't think there's anything controversial in there, but I mean, yes, I'm kind of on the ball still in my court here because I have to go supply the full SIP that contains all the proposed changes. So maybe at that point, this question will become a bit more relevant, or at least more answerable.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, no problem. We'll move on. Yep, just to make people aware, like we're starting to add, well, the SIP channels. Sort of, I had a chat with the guys who own the governance channel previously. I thought it's all kind of interrelated. So instead of having separate channels for SIP, so just merge all the SIP conversation into governance, and have notifications for from GitHub into like a thread instead of going into the main conversation. Yeah, so just, and we'll hopefully bring Stacks Forum posts and notification into this sort of thread-like place. Yeah, if anybody got any comments, think it's good or bad, let me know. Yes, so just a quick update. So this week we've managed to add another person into the CAP, into economics CAP, and he's Peter from Acadico. He's been involved in the tokenomics and the governance side of Acadico. So I think he could be a great help to all these three busy people in economics CAP. They are a little bit short on people, so I thought I'll bring more people in. Yeah, so a new member, I will be doing the announcement soon. Yeah, we'll announce it on Stacks Forum and then announce on Twitter too. But he's already merged into GitHub by Jason. Yeah, so that's sort of from me really. It's just to give everybody a sort of a highlight what conversation goes on here. So anything SIP related, anything we've had weeks where we had Bitcoin derivation path to do with miner centralizations. So we'll have more of that in the future to do with the non-custodial NFT staking. So Stacks 2.1 is also a big one here that we cover regularly. Yeah, so that's from me. So now it's the open floor. So anybody want to bring anything up, please just unmute your mic. Elena, maybe?
Yeah. Can you go back to the slide for the cabs?
Yeah, sure.
So is there a place where these groups regularly meet? Because I think that was the like, I was interested in learning what the diversity cab does or is planning to do.
We don't currently meet regularly. We currently stick it to because everybody's like running around different places. So we currently, we haven't moved the conversation on in the past couple of weeks, but we currently are in the DM. So I think it's just getting the Discord DM more activated. I can't remember if I've added you to the DM group yet. If I haven't, I will do it today. Sorry.
No worries.
Yes, so these we are in conversations, and occasionally we had one call so far. Me, Shannon, and Nick from Gamma. Eli Her for Brad is in Australia, so it's a little bit harder to catch him. But we yes, so maybe we can arrange a call. Whoever is available. I think that could be a way to move it forward.
Yep, that sounds great.
Yeah. Have I sent you the little bit blurb about what Diversity Cap is about?
I don't believe so, but the name does, I think I can get a good idea of the group's main focus, but just based on the name. Yeah, I'm happy to share, like we at Hero will be publishing the results of the developer survey next week, I believe. And one of the outcomes of the survey is wanting to interview more women developers in our community to see what type of resources and programs they would like to see and how we might be able to increase the diversity, at least among the developer community. So that was the main thing that we'll be focusing on in Q4 as it relates to diversity.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly relevant. So yeah, that'll be amazing to see. Anybody else?
So I did have a question here. So I think in response to one of your Twitter posts, I kind of threw one of my thoughts out there. And in terms of, something that I want to sort of explore, which is looking at the RPC endpoints that we have and, looking at, what else is possible. So when I look at the SIP process and look at SIP 000, that lays out, how to go about creating a new, improvement proposal. It talks about all SIPs shall be a pull request, and shall be submitted as a pull request. So I was wondering, like, what's the difference between within that repository for the SIPs? What is the difference between creating an issue versus a pull request, for something like the one that we talked about in Twitter, where I really just have like a genesis of an idea of what a SIP might be? Like, with that, do we see that starting as a GitHub issue where further conversation can be had to see if it is something that is worth pursuing as a SIP, which then can be submitted as more of a reference implementation? So yeah, I think really just a question around what's a issue in that repository versus what's a pull request, and at the very genesis, how do we start that idea kind of evolving?
Somebody want to take this one?
I think my understanding is that in terms of something that you're sort of looking to get community input and feedback on, that's more in the ideation phase, it can be started as a forum post and shared with the community and sort of get more insight ahead of sort of formally posting to GitHub and going through the process. Is that right, Jude, or anyone else have thoughts?
Yep, that's I think what the current expectation is. Start as a forum, say it's an RFC. Generally, these things don't have to be any, there's no like structure for this. It's just more like, hey guys, wouldn't it be really cool if, then fill in what the if is. And we can turn it into a SIP if it gets a lot of traction that way.
Yeah, and if you want to go a step further, like if you just have a more unstructured idea, I believe there's a brainstorming tag on the forum to sort of signal that you haven't thought it through as much as you'd like, whereas the RFP tag is for the more structured ideas.
Do you think your proposal right now, Muthu, is quite formed, like exact spec, or you're still sort of at earlier stage where you're trying to gather feedback?
Yeah, I would say more earlier stage. I just started looking at the code and see what RPC endpoints exist today, and I don't necessarily know at this point what is possible, what is technically impossible. How much thought already went into the RPC endpoints that already exist. So it's like it's sort of an early stage, really. And if I think I'd really like feedback on, here's what was already looked at, and here's why this is what we have in current state, right? I don't want to necessarily repeat work that was already done before. At the same time, I don't want to leave certain things unexplored if it's not been explored in the past. So I think a forum post, I guess, perhaps is a good option. So I was really just looking at the GitHub issues, like see issues flow through in the same repository, and wondering, is that the right forum as opposed to like the Stacks forum and forum.stacks.org versus issue in that GitHub repository. So
Yeah, I think definitely start from Stacks forum. And would this be I think Jude, this will be an operational related SIP or standard?
Yep, I think it would be the first one too.
Operational?
Yeah. Having to do with the system.
Very cool. Spearheading, Muthu. Yeah.
That's great. There's no precedent to work off of, so you get to set the precedent.
Amazing, amazing. So yeah, Muthu, maybe I can touch off. We can chat offline. I will help you sort of amplify that, and maybe tag whoever is relevant. Can comment on that early sort of idea phase, and we can get that a little bit more formed, and then that could become a draft later, and then after that we'll get that reviewed.
Okay, sounds good. And just want to take this opportunity to just thank Jude for posting that forum question. I did have one concern that I will reply in the forum about 2.1. So yeah, thanks for
that. You already posted some thread about that. So I guess maybe do you think we need like a new thread, like almost like a clean start? Then maybe it's under brainstorm or under request for comments.
Yeah, I will do a new one. Yeah, as a brainstorm.
Cool. Anything else on your mind?
Nope, that's it.
So am I right? Your idea will help stacks to be more decentralized, like from a node perspective, and more like verifying your own transaction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the API that Hero is developing, I think, is good, but it's very heavy and it's not really meant for a lighter use where someone is basically just worried about their own transactions and confirming that what their own node is telling them. The API, I think, has a lot of trust assumptions built in, which is not very ideal, so it will be so just looking at what the blockchain itself is saying as opposed to what the API that Hero is developing is saying. There's a lot that can be manipulated, for instance, in the API database just manually, right? So then how do you necessarily trust that information? So just trying to explore that, that design space a little bit more.
Amazing. I saw somebody had a hand up.
Yes, that's me, Elam. Hi, I'm quite new to all this stuff. I just completed Clarity Camp 4, but I have a question regarding the idea of making SIP registration a community activity. As you said, if I get it right, it is not that straightforward to get a SIP from ideation to registration, right? You have to go through different hoops. And is there any kind of incentive for an average community member to push himself through these hoops to get it done? Or is it just, you just do it because you want it?
The main reason for the SIP process is just so we can get, if there is a standard of some sort that you would like the community itself, the ecosystem itself, to start using, then the SIP process is the form by which that standard is designed, built, and ratified. But it's certainly not necessary to use even for that. In fact, it's expected people will just, by and large, do their own thing, and the SIP process could just sort of document things that become popular or widely used.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had, I think there are many different sort of that I've seen so far anyway, different sort of routes. I think we've seen like marketplaces already sort of because they had to do something like less manually and more consistently, they had to come up with some sort of standard. And then later, like a SIP is more a document, or a SIP is more written and then approved. So I think that's one way, like different entities may have their own interests and want to get things down better and already come up with the standard, and then later get implemented by the wider community. And I guess we have like core blockchain engineers, like improving all this different stuff and becoming a SIP. We had also a community member 2 weeks ago, Setzus. So he's doing non-custodial NFT staking SIP. So it's because he wants to do his from a need from staking the tokens. He discovered there's a need for it and can possibly be even better than other chain standard. He went through a different route. So yeah, it depends. But yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Do you have anything in mind that you are thinking like you want to propose?
No, not yet. I'm still learning.
No. Good to have you in Stacks. Welcome. Here's a place where you can learn different stuff, and then one day you'll be able to, and hopefully like in the next few quarters, I will be finding more people who can sort of mentor you through that process. If you have an idea, then we'll hopefully find the necessary resources to help you get through the different documentations or hurdles easier.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Mutu, just sort of one thought I had was one day, like once you have a bit more like of your proposals more formed, what we can do is to get you on one of these weeks weekly SIP, and you can present your idea to the community and you get feedback or whatever outcome you wish to get, but at least it can be an informative session for all of the community. I think that could also amplify your stuff too. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. But I think at this point, perhaps I will start with the forum post. I think I have a lot of questions. So yeah. I have a bit of learning to do to begin with. And then, yeah, I think once it's a well-formed idea, then yeah, an opportunity like that would be awesome. Yeah.
Cool. Right. So anybody else got anything on their mind? If not, just a reminder for people to comment on different stuff like Safe Transfer SIP, SIP 13, 19, the BNS, Stacks 2.1 voting is coming up soon. Stacks 2.1 sticker, sort of doing. If you've got any opposition to Stacks 2.1, let us know too. Yeah, so actually, I had a question for Jude. Can the cabs review stuff like or have early commentary? Well, it's just like do the cabs have to wait for the SIP to be fully written in order for the review to be carried out?
Oh no, they can leave informal feedback at any time. We're trying to set people up for success. So whatever it takes to help people get over the finish line is certainly fair game.
Cool. I just wonder when I should be, I think from a sort of planning their time perspective, like when do you think maybe I should ask, say, different cabs to allow for like a couple of hours when the SIP is written? Like, what do you think? We can give people a bit of heads up.
Yeah, I think that's like the minimum. Like at the end of the day, they have to read it at least once, and they have to vote up or vote down according to their own charters. But nothing stops the SIP author or anyone in the community, myself included and yourself included, from just saying, "Hey, it's like this SIP is getting along. Maybe you could just take an early peek at it to help make sure they're on the right track or something like that."
And when do you think the SIP might be fully written so that the formal review will happen around what sort of time? Can I give people a little bit heads up, all the different CAB members, because they might have different events or whatever they have to attend to?
Is this about the 2.1 SIP or is this in general?
2.1, sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about in general. Like, yeah, nothing stops CAB members from giving feedback whenever they want to. The 2.1 SIP, I think, is not even a draft yet. It isn't complete. It just doesn't talk about everything. I think we were just writing down some of the things that we're adding to stacking. Really, there's a whole bunch of other things that are just not even talked about in that SIP yet.
So I just wonder when I can start letting people know that's the week they should plan like an hour or two of their time to look at it.
Let's aim for first week of November.
Okay, great. Yeah. And maybe I can give that calm to all the CAB members saying, heads up, preliminary, like hopefully we'll have the SIP written up first week of November. If you could allow in that week sometimes for an hour or two to review it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it might take more than an hour, but yeah, maybe let's go for 2 hours sometime the week of the first week in November. Is what we're currently targeting right now.
Yeah.
With everything else.
And I'll mention to them subject to changes over the next couple of weeks. But just trying to give people as much advance notice as possible so they can do their own planning.
Yeah, that's totally fine. And I can also, like, as the SIP author, or one of the SIP authors, I can also like badge them myself too.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, the reason why we have the email addresses of everyone in the CAB public is precisely so SIP authors can help, motivate the CAB members to get on it. You know what I mean?
Cool. So do you want me to do that, or you want to do that? I'm quite happy to email everyone.
Either way, we can do both. Certainly, more notifications.
Okay.
Turn more heads.
Yeah, I can start because I'll just get the front end stuff going. Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much. That's all I have today. So yeah, get involved. Different places, different roles. Yeah, thank you everybody for coming.
Thanks, Hero. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.